They've tried to kill Jesus multiple times before. He would always leave the situation or pass through the midst of them. Or they'd pick up stones to stone him, and for some reason they would drop him. He would refute them. It wasn't time. He wasn't going to go until he was ready. He needed to finish that public teaching ministry. Hadn't done that yet. Hadn't prepared them enough yet. Now he has. Now he's ready. Now he says, after 2 days on the Passover, the Son of Man will be delivered up. Jesus is making it happen perfectly according to his plan, according to his power, according to his word. And that he came to do this because of the will of the Father. And remember, he's been teaching them about this coming death for about 6 months now. That's about when we see the first direct teaching in Matthew 16:21. I just want to go through some of these verses quickly. From that time, remember they're up in Caesarea Philippi. Jesus withdraws them up into the north, remote region. He gets them alone and says, who do men say, who do people say that I, the Son of Man, am? And some say John the Baptist. You remember the story. And then Jesus says, who do you say I am? And Peter gives you're the Christ, the Son of the living God. You're the Messiah. Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah. And he admits that, but then he says, don't tell anybody. Not yet, anyway, because I need to accomplish something first. I need to die. And he tells them at that point, Matthew 16:21, from that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem, suffer many things, listen to this, from the elders, chief priests, and scribes. Who's in charge? And be killed and be raised the third day. And remember, Peter takes him aside to rebuke him on that occasion. Hey, what are you talking about? And then in Matthew 17, while they were staying in Galilee, Jesus said to them, the Son of Man is about to be betrayed into the hands of men, and they will kill him, and the third day he'll be raised up. And they were exceedingly sorrowful this time. But they think somehow this is a lesson, or they don't understand it. They can't believe it's going to happen literally. And then in Matthew 20, verse 18, behold, we are going up to Jerusalem, and the Son of Man will be betrayed to the chief priests and to the scribes. They will condemn him to death and deliver him to the Gentiles to mock and to scourge and to crucify, and the third day he will rise again. He just said that in 2018. He's told them this over and over again. Each time before he delayed, he escaped. He didn't let them take him. It's time now. He's ready. And he tells them it's going to happen now in 2 days. He gives them the exact day. And the interesting thing about this, and here's why I want you to see the sovereignty of God. And I want you to apply it to your life. Whatever you're in right now, whatever fears, concerns you have, whatever it is that you think that maybe, you see what's going on in the world. Where is God? Is he in control? My goodness, what's happening? I know a lot of people are in a lot of fear right now. And people in there, and sometimes you have your loved ones going through something difficult, and suddenly nothing matters but that, right? Where's our confidence in our Lord, in his sovereignty, in his power? I wish I could picture it sort of like a movie scene. I was in television for 10 years, and you have these like cuts from one thing to another. And here's the way I imagine this. Jesus is on the foot of the Mount of Olives, not the foot, but probably the summit of the Mount of Olives. He's just got done giving them the Olivet Discourse. By the way, this is how we know he was privately teaching the disciples, because he says, after 2 days as the Passover, the Son of Man will be delivered up to be crucified. He's not going to say that in front of the priests. So this is that private discourse that's at the end of the Olivet Discourse. He tells them this. And then I would like to, right after he says that, because after 2 days, the Passover, and then the Son of Man will be delivered up. That means the Son of Man will be delivered up during the feast. During the feast, that's when he'll be delivered up. Jesus says that. Cut, scene change, bottom third of the screen with a little chyron saying, at that exact same moment, at the palace of Caiaphas. And then you hear them all saying, not during the feast. Jesus at the exact same time. During the feast, not all of them, all of their power against him. One man, a self-taught rabbi from Nazareth. He's going to determine when it is. During the feast, he says. They all say, not during the feast. Do you see who's in control? Do you see who's in charge? Because they take him, just as Jesus says, during the feast. And he actually dies on the cross on the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And he's actually delivered over and handed over the night of the Passover. It happens exactly the way he said. Jesus takes all of his enemies' intentions and actions and powers that they say it's going to be this way, and he turns it exactly around and says it's going to be the exact opposite, because I'm in control, because I'm in charge. That's how he saved us, beloved. And that's the God that you can count on in your life right now for that sick loved one, for that uncertain job condition, for that concern because of what's going on in our world with wars and rumors of wars. That God's in control. Whatever he has pleased and whatever he has determined to happen will happen, and we know that he does all that he does for the good of his people. He's the good shepherd. He's the king. That's why I chose the call to worship that I did. The whole nation, all the nations are what? They're setting themselves together. The rulers, they take counsel against the Lord. Let us break their bonds in pieces. Let us cast away their cords. And what's God doing in heaven? He's laughing. He says, my king right now is seated on my holy hill. He's in charge. And he's in heaven right now on his throne, beloved, and he's in charge. He's in charge of our salvation. He's in charge of our world. He's in charge of our lives, our intimate, tiny little individual lives. And he will not let anything happen to you except what will be for your good if you trust in him.